talk about a sales strategy called walking them down the mountain. Now, this strategy is used commonly in the timeshare industry in the timeshare industry, they generally have a 3-day right of rescission, a 3-day right of cancellation. So with the timeshare sale, for example, it's an emotional sale. There's a lot of energy in the room, a lot of people sitting around on tables, and when somebody buys a timeshare, all the salespeople stand up and cheer and applaud, and there's a lot of energy in the room. And then somebody else buys, and all the salespeople in the whole room stand up and cheer, and there's all these buyers sitting around in tables, typically sold like in a free breakfast situation. So knowing that it's an emotional sale and people have a 3-day right of rescission, as people walk out the room and they go about their day, maybe they go back home to where they lived, the enthusiasm and the energy in the room that was there as part of the sales process is now gone. So, and the amazing thing is, even though that's the case, the timeshare industry actually has very, very few cancellations, very, very low percentage. And here's the reason why. They have a technique called walking them down the mountain, okay? So that's from when they are in that high energy state, the peak state of enthusiasm, right after they've gone over all the benefits from the salespeople and all the energy in the room, and they go over, they've spoken with their brother-in-law, they've spoken with their attorney, their accountant, who told them they made a mistake, and so on. The walking them down the mountain technique prepares their mind for this eventuality. So the way it works is this. Bill and Joan, you purchased this timeshare for you. It's something that you know you really wanted. Now, when you leave here today, and then eventually you go home, you're going to talk to your brother-in-law, you're going to talk to your accountant, you're going to talk to your attorney, and they're going to tell you what a mistake you made, that you shouldn't have done it, that it was too much money, that it was a bad decision. But you know deep down inside why you did this. You did this because you deserve it. You did this for you. And you know deep down in your heart, this is something that you always wanted to do. Okay? That's called walking them down the mountain. In our case, we set up asset protection services and set up companies and trusts and so on. And so the way it might go for us is, for example, you know that you need to protect yourself from lawsuits. You know that you need this service, and therefore you're doing this for you because your accountant, your attorney, your brother-in-law may speak to you and they may tell you that it was a bad idea. But keep in mind, they may not specialize in asset protection or lawsuit protection. You have to make that decision on your own. After all, your brother-in-law isn't going to pay your judgment after you get hit with that judgment from a lawsuit. And the attorney, you want to follow legal advice, but they may not specialize in lawsuit protection. And besides, they may be afraid of what that judge might think of them, or that opponent attorney that they may go out to lunch with on the weekends. Even though they look like enemies in the courtroom, they're friends outside. They're worried about what they may look like. Therefore, when you run into these things and you run into family members or others who try to talk you out of it, remember, you did this for you. You did this because this is something that you want to do, and you work hard for what you have, and you don't want anybody to take that away from you. You're doing this because you know it's the right thing to do for you. Therefore, when you lay in your bed at night, you know you can sleep like a baby knowing that you've done the right thing, because deep down inside, you know this is the right thing. So this is called talking them down the mountain. So for whatever you sell, remember, the most excited they're going to be about what they buy from you is when they're talking to you as a salesperson, going over all the benefits and all the advantages, and they're going to be at the peak state of enthusiasm. But remember, you need to walk them down the mountain and make them realize what's going to happen. There's going to be little bugs and critters out there. They're going to take the enthusiasm out of their brain and try to kill that sale. So you've got to make them face that, create a scenario where you're pre-playing what's going to happen anyway, and solidify that decision inside as not an emotional decision, but a real decision that they have made for themselves. And that's called talking them down the mountain.